I think there are elements that we can do to just let our kids know, like, hey, you've gone through a process and we're now welcoming you into the community of adulthood. And it's not like, welcome, here's a party. It's like, welcome, here's the responsibility, and here's what you've done to earn being a part of it. And you're equipped now to succeed.
Yeah. That last piece is the one that I think is most difficult to replicate from like the more primitive, like our hunter-gatherer culture. You are equipped to succeed. You are competent as a man. That's the one that to me is most challenging now, because you have these much more simple cultures where the tool set for masculinity, for full rite of passage, your ability to hunt, your ability to defend, your ability to have courage, these things in a lot of these cultures are so clear, and you could get those at 13, 14, like a pretty young age. I do think that one of the things I constantly wrestling with rites of passage is, how do you cause a young man to feel competent in a complex world that we live in now? That
Yeah.
where they might have to go off to college or like learn lots of basic skills just to get the sort of first base to be able to provide for their own, their food and maybe their family. So yeah, what's the age, and then what have you seen in this sort of collision between cultures that really have a little bit more like simple and transferable toolbox from one generation to the other, and our culture, which is, man, so complex. That's always the thing that's, for me, I'm always trying to understand about rites of passage here.
Yeah. So the way we handled that, so the first on the age is, the only age requirement is that the apprentice, and that would be the term we would use for the male or female child that's going through it. They don't want to be called a child. An apprentice really does tell the story. They're apprenticing towards adulthood,
Okay.
and led by their father in partnership with their church. So you have to have turned 12 to start. And it's a 3-year journey. We generally focus on the first year because, most people wouldn't sign up for high school if they knew it was 4 years. So
Right.
in this kind of current culture, but um, the first thing that they actually do when they start the ion path and they get this box, it's got 5 envelopes in it. The first envelope, can't go to the second until you do the first, is just simply making a list of 30 skills that that apprentice wants to have in the next 3 years.
Hmm.
That skill could be, I want to learn how to start a fire. I want to learn how to shoot a gun. I want to learn how to do laundry. I
Hmm.
want to learn how to give a toast. I
Hmm.
want to learn how to play chess. I want to learn whatever it is
Hmm.
that fits the uniqueness. So the dad and their apprentice are going to sit down and come up with 30 things that that kid wants to learn. And one of my favorite examples, I actually have a board that somebody had it engraved, the 30 things on it.
Hmm.
And I'm walking through the Denver airport with that. I get to the Jamba Juice to get my green juice, and the guy behind me kind of looks over my shoulder. He's like, is that your bucket list? I'm like, oh, no, no, that's, I kind of tell him what it is, and I order my juice and I go sit down. He follows me over. He's probably in his early 30s, African-American man wearing a reflector vest, works at the airport. He's like, do you mind if I read it? I go, no. So I'm sitting at my table and he's looking over my shoulder. He's kind of, And he's like, man, a kid finishes that, he's a man. And I'm like, bam, you are right. And I think you just spoke to me from God, because that's exactly right. So
Uh,
this kid
hmm.
that has this board in this family's example, that has it engraved, the 30 skills, and then checked off with a wood burning pen along the way, will never question, will have much less anxiety about life of what they're capable of doing, because they've got a list of things that they've accomplished. And not only have they accomplished them, they did them alongside their dad. So they warmed up that relationship.
Hmm.
And let's say I was the dad, and my son had, learned how to barbecue on it, and he knows that's not my gift. He would have we would have gone to maybe somebody like you and said, hey, teach us both. So now
Hmm.
my son and I are going to learn together from another man
That's
how
great.
to do a skill, which is a wonderful experience. And it creates kind of that second really critical piece to the success and transferring our faith to the next generation, is an intergenerational collision that happens. And so a number of pieces along the ion path are designed to do just that.
Mm, that's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first time I think I've heard a pathway that really tries to squarely face the problem of competence in a rite of passage. Thank you for
Yeah.
doing that. That has been a missing or a gap in so many of the programs I've looked at. I think that's significant. I just, in my own relationship with my son, now my son-in-laws as well, I can sense that the confidence of masculinity comes from competence, and for some reason that's really missing. So 30 things that say I can do this, and they were participating in that list making and then
Yes.
guided by their dad. Man, I love that.